At Option Genius, we believe that you deserve freedom, financial freedom, so that you have no more worries and more than enough money. Time freedom, so that you could do what you want, when you want to do it. And choice freedom, to live your life on your terms. But the system and Wall Street are rigged against those little guys. So how do we fight back? Well, my friend, that's what this podcast is all about. My name is Alan Sama, and this is the Option Genius Podcast. Genius Nation, it's time for you to lean in. That's right, I said it. It's time for you to lean in. Recently, I was interviewed on the Live Your Passion podcast. It was a lot of fun. It was fun. We talked about a couple things, especially about how I live my passion and how I discovered my passion and all that. But when I was telling my story and I was doing the interview, I shared that when I got started in trading, I had a really, really rough time. And while I was learning, obviously you have to learn something, right? The story was basically I was working and I had always wanted to be a trader. So I was learning how to trade in my off hours. So I'd come home from work. We didn't have any kids at the time. And I would spend some time learning and testing and putting on trades and whatnot. But as you can imagine, I wasn't that serious at it. It was a part-time thing. I was tired after work. I wanted to spend time with my wife, all this stuff. So, I was what you call, it was a hobby. It wasn't serious. It wasn't business. It was a hobby, but I had always wanted it to be serious. I wanted that to be my livelihood. And I wanted to, leave the job. I love the job, but I wanted to leave the job and do this on my own. And, I wanted to be my own boss. Well, I got my wish and I got laid off from the position. In fact, the whole company was shut down. But the thing was that now I have no job. And I really was not the most hireable employee. Right? I don't want to go into too many details, but it wasn't going to be that easy for me to find a position like the one I had left. It was a very good position. They gave me a lot of freedoms. They were paying me well. They treated me with a lot of respect. I knew that finding something like that again would be extremely, extremely difficult. And so I could go back into the workforce and look for something else, or the other option was that maybe I try to become a full-time trader, which was the ultimate goal, right? So now my safety net has been taken away, but really all my obstacles have been taken away because I have all the time in the world now. So, I discussed it with my wife and, she's always been very supportive of everything I've done. And so I did it. I went into trading full-time. And it was a huge risk, but I was young. And, if it didn't work out, I could have gotten a job, could go back at there. Plus, to help out, my wife decided that she was going to start working 2 jobs to support us so that I wouldn't have that pressure of having to make it work, my trading right away, so that I have to take money out of my trading account for us to pay the bills. So she got a second job, and she was a nurse at the time, so it was very easy for her to do that. But, it was very tiring mentally, physically on her, bless her heart. You fast forward a few months, and I was actually keeping my wife in the dark about how I was doing because I was not doing well. And, I was doing everything I could. I was reading books and watching news and trying to follow any strategy I can come up with. Anything that looked good, any email that I got, I would open and investigate it. I went to, I don't know how many dozens and dozens or hundreds of webinars, trying to pick up little tidbits here and there, trying to read blog posts and watch TVs and buy videos and go to the library and read books and everything I could do to get better, But then there was that one day when my wife came home and she checked the mail, she brought it home and she opened my most recent account statement. And she saw that I had already lost in just a few months over $48,000. And needless to say, she was not a happy camper. And so, that kind of impacted us for a while. And it was decision time again, right? So it's like, okay, we decided you would do this. You would try it. It's not going very well. I don't know how it could get any worse. You haven't lost all the money yet. But, if you keep going, that's the track that it looks like we're going. So, my wife was losing faith in me. I had already lost a lot of money. She's probably thinking, she never mentioned it, but she probably was thinking that, why she ever married me in the first place. And I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was doing everything that I was told to do, everything. I was following every strategy I could find. I was reading everything I could do, testing everything. But I felt like, I was making one step forward, 3 steps back. And I wonder how many of you guys are out there feeling the same thing. You're trying. It works a little bit and then you lose. And then it works a little bit and then boom, the market drops. And you're not even back to square one. You're like negative, right? So you're never getting to the goal. You're just going backwards. But I really, 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 really did not want to go back to work. And so I kind of went all in. I made that, just like, no, I'm going to do this. I don't care what's going to happen. I am going to go for broke. I am all in, literally put all my chips on the table. If I don't do this, I'm going to literally be broke with a zero in my account. Luckily for me, I found selling options, and that was my saving grace. And over time, I was able to figure it out, and the rest is history. But what would have happened if I had given up? If I'd gone back to the workforce, played it safe, try to be average, not try to rock the boat, what would have happened? I don't know. But I do know that I would not be anywhere near as happy and as fulfilled as I am now. I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. You wouldn't be listening to this for sure. I wouldn't be living the passive trading lifestyle. I wouldn't be able to help as many people as have helped. And I probably would still be thinking and wondering and having doubts, lingering thoughts, like, oh man, what if I had done that path? What if I had gone down that road? The road less traveled, as they say. My point is that in trading and in life, nothing comes easy. It's easy to give up. It's easy to blame other people or other systems or the markets. It's hard to go the extra mile. And I think that is why most traders lose money. Not because they're stupid, but because they give up. They give in. They quit. They stop 3 feet from gold. Okay. And in his all-time classic book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill tells the story of a guy named R.U. Darby. Now, Darby's uncle had gold fever. Now, this is years ago, right? When they were still pining for gold. But Darby's uncle had gold fever. So he staked his claim and he started digging, right? After a lot of hard work, the uncle found a vein of ore. So he covered up his find and he returned home to raise the money that he needed for all the machinery that he would need to bring that ore to the surface, to actually mine all that gold. They raised the money and Darby traveled with his uncle back to their site to make their fortune, right? And things started great. And before long, they had enough money and enough ore, enough gold to pay off all their debts, which was awesome. And they were super excited because everything from then on would be profit. Right? And everything was looking good. But then all of a sudden, the ore dried up. There was no more gold. It just disappeared. So they're like, what happened? There should be a lot more gold here. This can't be it. This is not fair. We found it. We did all this work. We found it, but all we got was enough to pay off our debts. So they kept on digging. They kept trying. They looked around. They kept whatever they could come up with. They tried. But after a while, they threw in the trowel. They're like, shush, this is it's not meant to be. We're not meant to have this success. And so they quit in frustration. They sold all their machinery and they sold it all to a junk guy. One of those guys, he just buys stuff from people at rock bottom prices and hopefully he can sell it back to, more gold diggers later on so they sold everything they had for a few $100. They travel home and they're totally disappointed. They don't know what to do now. Now, that junk guy, he didn't know anything about gold, but he had seen all about gold, people coming in and leaving and getting frustrated. But he saw that these guys had some success. So he went and he called in an expert, a mining expert, and he paid him to go to that site and assess the site and try to see if there was any more gold there or not. And there was. That guy, that mining expert, did his reports and surveys and whatever, and he found that there was gold just 3 feet away from where Darby and his uncle had stopped digging. Literally 3 feet away. That junk man He already had the equipment. He already had everything. He went on to make millions from the mine. Can you believe it? Darby found out about this and they paid back everybody that lent them money. But he was determined that, hey, I'm going to learn from this mistake. His mistake of giving up too soon. And he did learn, because then he went on into insurance sales. And he became one of the most successful life insurance agents in the country. And he made a lot more money from doing that than from the gold mine. But he learned the lesson that you need to persevere through difficulties and stay focused if you are going to be successful. You know, I mean, this is a true story, right? You can look it up. 3 feet from gold after all that time, all that planning, all that dreaming, right? It's crazy. I mean, take a look at all the things you cherish in your life right now. You know, your kids, maybe your grandkids, your spouse, your boat, whatever you cherish, think about it. Was it easy to attain? You know, I mean, kids are not easy. They are not, right? When they're little, they're hard as hell. You know, when they become teenagers, they get worse. Grandkids are easy because you don't have to do anything, but you have to have the kids first, right? You got to raise the kids until you get the grandkids. So I don't know about that one. And marriage, not easy. You know, you want to have a good marriage, you're going to have ups and downs. Everything in life, you're going to have ups and downs. It's the things that we fight the hardest for, the hardest to get, that we cherish the most, right? So anything in your life that you cherish, did it come easy? No way, right? We all have our ups and downs. But when we know what we want and we stick with it, the results come. So I want you to lean in to trading. Okay. I don't want you to go all in like I did. You know, I don't want you to bet the farm. That's crazy. And if I was advising myself when I was that young, I would have told myself the same thing. Hey, you're freaking crazy. You know? Luckily, it worked out for me, but I want you to lean in. I want you to double down. Make a commitment that if trading is what you want to do, that you will stick with it. Because if others can do it, I mean, so can you. But you need to lean in, right? You need to track your progress. You need to learn. You need to get help if you need it. And Tony Robbins, you know, he says that the way to mastery is constant and never-ending improvement. That's one part of it. And the second part of it is massive action. And that's the secret, you know, action. The more, the better. And then constantly tracking what you're doing and improving, tweaking and working on it. Because you can't do the same thing over and over again and having lousy results. You got to improve it. You got to figure out, hey, what's going on wrong? How can I improve this? You know, simplify whatever you're doing. Cut out all the noise. You know, if you're getting all these emails, hundreds of emails a day, talking about this trading program and that trading program, I mean, get rid of that stuff. Pick the one that makes the most sense to you. Focus on it, track it, improve it, get help. If there's somebody doing something that is successful at what you want to be doing, find out what they're doing and emulate them, copy them, model them, whatever the words you use. Just do what they're doing, right? And then once you start getting successful, once you start getting consistent, then you can tweak it. Then you can change it and you can say, you know what? This is taking a little bit more risk than I want to take. Let me scale it back. But you don't do that until it's working. Does that make sense? Be consistent first, then start to change it and model it, and then it'll take off for you. You know, when you're in the beginning and you're just trying to be consistent, I'm not telling you that you got to make hundreds of thousands of dollars right away. All I want you to do is not to lose money. To me, that's consistent. Even if you're not making any money, I don't care. But month after month after month, if you are not losing money, that's wonderful. That is a grand slam. That is, you know, let's have a party. Because once you get to that point, then we can tweak it. And then we can say, okay, what exactly are you doing? And there's just a couple little levers that we can pull that can start getting you profits and awesome results. And then from there, you're off to the races. So it doesn't matter where you are now. It doesn't matter how long you've been at trading. It doesn't matter what type of trading you've done. Lean in. You know, make this year the best year ever. You know, commit. You know, how much time am I going to put into this? How much effort am I going to put into this? The more you do, the more action you take, the better off you're going to be, the better results you'll be. Okay. And if you hit a wall, reach out. Reach out to us. Reach out to somebody else that knows what they're doing. Reach out to somebody who's done it before. Find somebody to help you and just get it done. Right? if anything, I'm here. I'm living proof that it's possible. And so reach out. And remember, keep the odds in your favor. Take care. All stocks are not created equal. We've analyzed thousands of optionable stocks to find the very best ones to trade options on. Lucky for you, you can just download the list for free. Get it at simonsaysoptions.com/stocks. Again, that's simonsaysoptions.com/stocks.